Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited. Isis, Escape from Transylvania. The goddess next door and John Haynes must escape a horde of vampires on the hunt in this horror-filled Isis series adventure. Get Isis, Escape from Transylvania in paperback and Kindle Unlimited today. Some comic fans believe that because the Thanos character's motivations were changed in Avengers Infinity War, that the character is no longer a simp. However, when I take a look at the Thanos character that is presented in this adaptation of Marvel's Infinity Gauntlet saga, I still see the same simp I saw in comics 25 years ago. Now, when it comes down to the Thanos character in the original comics, he worshipped Lady Death, and he wanted to do everything in his power to please Lady Death, so he went on a quest to get the Infinity Stones for her and to destroy half the universe's population of beings. And that's what makes him one of the all-time simps in comic book history, is the fact that he went out here to go out here and impress Lady Death by destroying half the universe. Now, many people will say that because Thanos' motivations were changed in Avengers Infinity War, that he is no longer a simp. However, when I watched this movie, I saw the same simp I saw back 25 years ago when I was reading the Infinity Gauntlet trade paperback. And the reason why Thanos is still a simp in this movie is the fact that he's sitting here talking about how he's going to go out here and balance the universe by killing half the population. And anyone who knows the nice guy knows that he oftentimes does things not to help people, but it's all about his own ego. And when it comes down to the nice guy, he creates these covert contracts. And with Thanos, he's creating this covert contract where he believes that if he kills half the universe, the other half of the universe will be grateful for him improving their quality of life. And just like the nice guy, the big problem with Thanos is who asked you to do anything at all? Because when it comes down to the nice guy, again, he's not doing things to help you, but he's doing things all for his own ego. And the nice guy, he'll make it look like he's doing everything for you and it's all about you, but in reality, it's all about him. And it's all about him appearing to be a big man. And when it comes down to the Thanos character, he wants to be the god over the universe, and wants the power over the universe because he believes that he knows what is best for everyone. And that's what makes nice guys extremely evil, because the nice guy, he's not doing things because he's giving to you out of the goodness of his heart. He's giving to you because it's all about you giving him something in return. However, what he wants you to give him in return is never expressed. He expects you to give him something, and then he's usually disappointed when what he gets isn't what he expected. And when it comes down to your nice guys, again, they aren't very nice. They're very insecure, they're very needy, and they do things not for the best of intentions. And that's why your Thanos is a worse simp now than he was before, because before he had a surface where he was just worshiping this woman and creating a covert contract, but now he wants to come in talking about how he wants to balance the universe. And again, who asked you to balance God's universe? That's extremely arrogant thinking once you take a critical look at this character. This character is going to balance God's universe, and he believes that he is the one who knows better than God himself about his own universe. And he believes that him with these Infinity Stones, he's going to make the universe better for everyone based on his ideas. And again, that's the way the nice guy approaches things. He believes his way is better than everyone else's, and he's going to do things unilaterally, not thinking about anyone else. Now, your Thanos believes that by killing half of the universe, that he's going to make things more balanced for everyone. He's going to make things better for everyone. And again, who asked this character to do this? And how does it make it better when you take away people's loved ones and you destroy people's civilizations? And what makes this whole argument completely illogical is the fact that you're not going to balance something that's already balanced. When you try to quote unquote balance something that's already balanced, you make it unbalanced and you make it more chaotic. And the whole argument of he's going to destroy the universe, half the universe, to improve the quality of life for the survivors, that's a fundamentally flawed argument when you understand reproduction. Because in a couple of years, you're going to have the same problem as related to quote unquote resources. Because when people reproduce, they then wind up having more children, and the problem then reoccurs. And that's where your Thanos' argument falls completely apart. And that's where we start to see how it's all about his ego and not about the people who he says he's trying to improve the quality of their lives. Because I look at that whole argument again, and all these people are going to, after all the suffering and all the misery, then reproduce, because when it comes down to people, they reproduce and then they adapt, and we wind up in the exact same place we were once again. So the cycle just happens all over again. So for all of his attempts to destroy half the universe's population, it does not solve the problem. And nice guys, they never solve the problem because they don't want to acknowledge where the problem really lies. The problem really lies with them. And the nice guy, the problem is within him because he's extremely insecure about himself. He feels extremely inadequate about himself, and he wants to have power over himself, but he can't have power over himself, so he tries to create covert contracts with people in the hopes of having power over them that he wants for himself. He wants to be the center of attention, but he does not know how to be the center of attention. And this is something that your nice guy does. And when I look at your Thanos character, he shows us the whole dark side of the nice guy, just like your supreme gentleman, Elliot Rogers, showed us the dark side of the nice guy. And the nice guy, again, he only does things for others because he wants things from them, not because he wants to see them happy. It's all about him and never about the people around him. And when I look at the whole Thanos character, I'm not a fan of this character because this character was originally, as I saw it, and the stories around him were created to try to be allegories to Christianity. But as I see it, Jim Starlin never really understood Christianity, and he never understood the concepts as related to God, because I don't really believe he's had a really good relationship with God. Now, I'm not the greatest as related to Christianity, and I don't really think I have that great a relationship with Christ. But when I look at this story and the whole calling yourself balancing the universe concept, it again falls apart because when God created the universe, again, he created the universe perfect. He said everything was good. And the thing that makes the universe the way it is sin. And this is something that I think that the writers of Jim Starlin and the writers of the screenplay didn't really understand, is that what makes the war, what makes the chaos, and what makes the poverty is the fact that man sinned. And when man fell, that's what led to things being the way it is. Because here we had the man without sin, Jesus Christ, come to the earth, and he told everyone that you would always have the poor with you. And the reason why you would always have the poor with you is because there would always be sin in the world. And because there's always sin, you're always going to have greed. You're always going to have avarice. You're always going to have violence. And Any being believing that they could kill half the people and stop this is a complete fool. That's why I call the Thanos character extremely stupid, because here you are talking about balancing something when there is no way of making a perfect balance from a creature who was created from sin, because all beings are born in sin. So you can't create balance. All you're going to create is further unbalance. And that's why, again, I believe that the character is a simp. Now, I myself had made the same argument in the first ISIS back in 2002. And in that story, the ISIS character is a prisoner of the gods because she has this hatred in her heart. Moreover, she has this dysfunctional way of thinking about race in America. And in that story, I made the commentary that the ISIS character really, she saw things from the sinful human perspective and not the ways of the Heliopolitan gods. Now, Osiris is sitting there with his daughter in one of the chapters, and he's trying to explain to her that killing all the white people would not make life better for the black people. And the reason why it wouldn't make life better for the black people is that the white people taught black people in America their ways, their culture, and their ideas. And because black people learned their ways, cultures, and ideas, if they were left alone after all the white people died, they would be just as dysfunctional as the white people they learned their culture from. And he tries to teach his daughter this because she believes, again, that if she kills all the white people, which is half of the American population, and leaves the black people, that it's going to lead to these people, black people, having a better quality of life. And it wouldn't be because, again, when you look at black people, they learn their way of life from white people. Moreover, they deify and worship white people. So the Isis character in her beliefs would have learned a very troubling and tragic lesson as related to race. But the elder gods, they took Isis and banished her to the island of solitude so that she could learn that you destroying these people is not going to help you. All it's going to lead to you doing is driving yourself completely crazy, because when it comes down to humans, they do not behave in the way that you expect. And that was something that people just don't understand. I mean, when it comes down to human beings, they are what they are, and there's no changing them. When it comes down to people, you can try to call yourself doing things to fix it, but it's never going to be fixed because they are who they are. And this is what many nice guys and simps, they really don't understand about people. They don't understand a concept I learned back when I was 15 years old, that people are as is. And people, as you see them, this is who they are. And when I look at the Thanos character, he's one of these nice guy simps who doesn't understand anything. He's an intellectual who has all these issues, but he doesn't understand people are who they are. And there is no balancing anything related to people because people are born in sin, they are who they are, and they aren't really going to change unless God puts things in their way that makes them change. And you trying to quote unquote balance a universe that God has already created as balanced and has created as perfect. And when the problem is people aren't perfect, and people aren't perfect because they're born in sin. And that's something that the writers really didn't get in this whole cosmic saga, because they're trying to leave God out of things that he was always a part of. And that's something that leads to the story, as I see it, falling completely apart. Because when I was writing Isis and I was writing stories like Man Who Rules the World, I had to acknowledge God's power and God's presence in the universe, because as the creator of the universe, he knows how it works, he knows how he made it, and he knows what makes it completely balanced. And when men try to call themselves fixing things like the Thanos character does, and like nice guys try to do, all they do is wind up either breaking things further or breaking themselves further. And the reason why they wind up breaking themselves is because they don't understand the whole concept that God never changes. And the reason why God never changes is because he is omniscient, omnipresent, and he knows how he made the universe. And what happens with most people is that those who take the red pill, they come to an understanding of things and they accept things for the way they are. And the character who figured out things are the way they are was Michael Korvac. Now, Michael Korvac in the Korvac saga had the exact same omniscient powers and omnipotent powers that Thanos had. And your Michael Korvac was designed by Jim Shooter to be, as I see it, a kind of Jesus-like figure in that Korvac saga. And your Michael Korvac said he wanted to give people freedom from eternity. However, the Avengers and the Guardians of the Galaxy, they believed that Michael Korvac was some sort of menace, and because they had a human nature and a sin nature, they went to attack Michael Korvac, and Michael Korvac went to defend himself. However, as the fight went on, I believe Michael Korvac came to an epiphany or red pill moment and realized that he could not give these heroes the gift of eternal life he wanted to give them. And like Jesus, what he did was he shook the dust off his feet and let his life go in the Marvel Universe. And as his girlfriend Karina was going to avenge his death, I believe she stopped as well because she heard from him and realized that there was nothing she could do for the Marvel Universe. And that's why I believe both those characters died in the Korvac saga. They actually left their bodies there to make it look like they had lost, but in actuality, the Marvel Universe had lost because Michael Korvac just decided to leave the Marvel Universe. And that's why I believe that the Korvac saga had far more resonance than the Infinity Saga. Now, the Infinity Saga is a lot more popular because it features more characters and is more in time. But when I look at the Korvac saga, what makes it a classic is the fact that it was about human nature, and it was about how human nature can lead to people not doing things that are beneficial to them, and how the heroes, in their attempts to do good, actually were the villains of the story and cost themselves something incredibly great. Because at the end of the story, Moondragon realizes and Thor realize what they have lost, and they realize what they have lost was something incredibly precious that the Michael Korvac character wanted to give the universe. And that's why that story has a lot deeper resonance. But many people, they like the Thanos story because it has the flash of these infinity gems and the flash of saying that you have all this power. But when I look at the Thanos character, I see a character who has power but never understood the greatness of the responsibility of the power he was given. And that's what happens with many of these nice guys and these simps out here. They want to have power over women. They want to have power in situations. They want to be the big man all over people. But when it comes time to take responsibility for things, that's when these guys fall completely apart. And when I take a look at the Thanos character, he wants to have power over the universe, but he doesn't understand the great responsibility as related to it. Like many simps don't understand the power as responsibility as related to it. And this is what leads to them eventually breaking. Because as I wrote in my book, Stop Simping, Why Men Don't Need Finance to Get Romance, the simp is always trying to fix people. And because he cannot accept people as they are and accept situations as they are, the people in many cases don't break. He's the one who usually winds up breaking because he's trying to fix something and change something into something that it's not. And when I look at the Thanos character, I look at the same simps who try to go out here talking about they're going to fix people and make them better and fix situations and make them better. And they usually wind up disappointed because you can't change something from what it is. And your Thanos, in his attempt to try to quote-unquote balance the universe, all he does is wind up making the universe less balanced, and he winds up breaking himself more than anything else. And That's why some people would call him a mad god, but again, I call him a stupid idiot because when I look at someone who's supposed to be so smart, the answer was right in front of him from minute one. Unfortunately, his ego was too big for him to see the simple answer in front of him a child could figure out. If you'd like to try some of my books like ISIS, The Man Who Rules the World, and Stop Simping, you may do so by clicking the link to Amazon.com. And if you want to see me make more videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon by clicking the link in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.